Hi, everyone. So upcoming events, again, April 9th and 10th. Oh my God, April 9th, tentative Valencia Day for military students. April 12th is Family Fun Day. April 17th is the Army Military Ball. And April 26th is a Stole ceremony for military students.
Any questions? All right, seeing none. Women's Caucus, Chair Lazo.
Sexual Health and Wellness Bingo is a success. Thank you to Hamid, Vasquez, H4H, and Concho Samilo for helping out.
Any questions? All right, seeing none. Arab Ad Hoc Caucus, Vice Chair Hamid.
Hi, Senate. Sorry I can't be present tonight as I've been under the weather this week. Well wishes to Halima. We didn't meet this week, do this as well. However, a proclamation to recognize April's Arab American Heritage Month will be remanded tonight. Since we won't see that proclamation until next week, I want to share a very exciting event I share on the proclamation, which is hosted by the Arab American Community Center, the 2025 Arab Fest at Festival Park in Orlando from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. This event is free for all and a great way to celebrate the Arab community during this month. The AACC is an amazing organization that brings the local Central Florida Arab community together, and I look forward to working with them more closely next year. Additionally, legislation to move the ad hoc status from the Arab Caucus to being remanded tonight as well. As always, if you need anything, please contact myself or Vice Chair Hamid. Thank you. Try to say that as fast as possible.
Any questions? All right, seeing none. Sustainability Ad Hoc Caucus, Chair Lipner.
Hi, everyone. This week we met to finalize the caucus's end-of-year proclamations. Thank you to everyone for working very hard to write those. And we also tabled at the Market Wednesday and Farmers Market that happened this week in partnership with UCF Dining Services. Additionally, Earth Day planning and designs have been finalized, and I absolutely implore you all to come to our event on April 22nd during the Finals Week Study Day to get an awesome sweatshirt and sticker design. Thank you all.
Any questions? Lazo.
Yeah, I saw you tabling at UCF Dining posted you tabling, and I just had a little bit of a question because I saw that it was tagged as part of Fair Trade UCF, and I just was wondering if you had approval from the Senate President or the Pro Tempore to be using the SG merch because Fair Trade UCF isn't considered a registered organization through court anymore.
So yeah, absolutely. Fair trade has become kind of melded into the caucus as a part of our understanding. And I did absolutely talk with exec and legislative before tabling.
Any further questions? All right, seeing none. Intercampus and Transfer Ad Hoc Caucus, Chair Varela.
Hi, y'all. Sorry. Hello, everybody. Me and Vice Chair Goomer have had a great meeting with the Transfer Center this week to discuss the challenges faced by their office as well as future plans and their interest in the future ex officio seats. And we'll be having ICTC tomorrow at our normal time, so please show up if you want to.
Any questions? All right, seeing none. Announcements from the Senate President. All right, hey everyone, I'll keep it short because we do have a lot to get to tonight. But yep, after this meeting, we have 2 meetings left. We have a lot of legislation to get through, but basically this week we did SG on tour. Thanks to everyone who came and got a sweatshirt. Can someone also count and make sure we have quorum right now? Basically people who like left or walked out the room. Okay, thank you. Also, wait, I didn't write down what I was going to say. I'll fill this in later. Okay, the main thing that I did want to say was, yep, we have a lot of legislation on the table tonight. I will be pretty much setting 2-minute timers on like everyone speaking. So if it's in questioning and you're answering questions, please try to keep it concise. You're going to have 2 minutes. If you're speaking in debate on a bill, you're also going to have 2 minutes. So if you know you're going to want to speak on a bill, we have 26, 25 right now. Okay, got it. If you know you're going to want to speak on a bill, what I would recommend doing is kind of writing points and then just going from there. We don't have time to be, having our normal speaking time in debate. So let's try to all collectively just make sure that we're getting through these bills as efficiently and effectively as possible. If you see that a bill is clearly going to go one way, then just there's no need. I know you might have a great point, and that's great, but we don't have time for everyone, including all the bills. I think we're remanding like 28 bills or something around that number. So please, everyone, let's all lock in. I don't want to have to call a special session, but it's looking like I might have to, depending on if we're able to get through this efficiently tonight. Then we might not have to, but depending on how tonight goes, there might be a special session, and I don't want to have to do that. But yeah, so please, everyone, we're going to have, again, 2-minute timers on everyone speaking, on individual speaking. If you have a new comment to say and it's like still agreeing, then it might be a great point, but again, just, we got to keep it moving. But yeah, pretty much all I wanted to say today was that we have a lot of bills and not a lot of time. So let's keep it moving out of respect for everyone. Any questions for myself, Cords? To Brody? Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna address it basically once we got there, but at some point between now and when we see the first bill, if you guys all want to like sit here at the table and you three all want to like maybe just move back to the third row, and then we'll wherever you find a spot that works, and then we'll make it work on our end.
Yeah, do you want to just move now? Yeah, sure. Okay. So yeah, everyone in this who can't vote, this row, and then the first row over here. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you can move there. All right. We will keep it moving. Any more questions for myself? Seeing none, internal legislative assistant report. I'll go ahead and read it out. Good evening, Senate. Apologies again, I couldn't be there in person tonight. Not much from me as SLC ended last week. Reminder that SGLC end of the year banquet is tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the Key West Ballroom. I will be there, so hope to see some of you all there as well. As always, please don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. Thank you. I look forward to being back next week. Any? Yes. Okay, you can. Yeah, either or sit maybe in the, I don't know, anywhere that is good for you. Yeah. Or like the center of that table. Perfect. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right. Any questions for the ILA that I could answer on her behalf? All right. Seeing none, external legislative assistant report. None. All right. Senate President Pro Tempore report.
Okay, not much for me, just wrapping up some efficiency items from the open house. So those should be wrapped up, but that's all for me.
Any questions? All right, seeing none, Deputy Pro Tempore of Legislative Affairs report, Dula Colazo.
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you all, especially to the ones who sent me 6 bills in one email for submitting legislation. I truly appreciate it. I had a time, making it into an email for Brody. But anyways, we have a lot of legislation to get through in the next few weeks, so please use the available time wisely. If you set time limits, aka motion to speech, questioning, debate, use it and stick to them. Today's legislation first reading is 15 internal bills, 9 resolutions, and 5 proclamations. On third reading, it's 4 internal bills. On second reading, it is 12 internal bills, 2 resolutions, and 1 special act. Show up to the committees for the bills you have authored or provided speech. My advisement to the chairs is to postpone the bill or just vote on it, because it is the author's responsibility that their bill goes through the legislative process. It's not the responsibility of the chair to see your bill. They don't have to see if they don't want to. So either show up or provide a speech, because you submitted the bill. That means you want it to be seen. And I just want to reiterate again that we have a lot of bills to get through. So look at the vote counts, especially look at the meeting minutes if you have them, because if we don't need to debate on it, we can just simply move on.
Any questions? Yep, I think that about sums it up. Pretty much what I said in my reports too is that we don't have a lot of time, so let's try to get through as efficiently as possible. Okay. Deputy Pro Tempore of Senate Relations report. None. Let's keep it moving. Perfect. All right. Old business, none. Fiscal committee report. CRT committee chair Kringle.
Yeah, nothing for me. We didn't meet last week, but just because they're also not here, just keep the PPI or the tables going. I'm just gonna motion to also table internal bill 5649 and 53 for Gaudio. Just table them so you can just move right past.
Did you just make the motion? Sorry, I was counting.
Yeah, I did.
All right. There's been a motion to table. Which one was it?
49 and 53.
56, 49, 56, 43. Are there any objections? You object?
I withdraw motion to postpone internal bill 5649 and 53.
To postpone?
Yeah.
All right. There's been a motion to postpone 5649 and 5653, was it? Any objections? All right, seeing none, they're postponed. All right, any questions there? All right, FAO Committee Chair Kaufman.
All right, we saw in PPI allocation 56-176. We saw internal bill 5648 on first reading, and it passed 9-0 to 1. We voted to sponsor 2 internal bills that will be remanded tonight. And next Tuesday will be our final FAO meeting due to passing of the gavel on the 15th, and y'all will definitely not want to miss it.
Any questions? Oh, I forgot to mention that. Passing the gavel is the 15th. You are all invited. So it should be in your seat emails. The RSVP is due by April 7th. So please fill that out. Okay. Any questions? All right. Seeing none, ORS Committee, Chair Rose.
Last week, we did 3 post-funding reviews, 2 of which ended up with sanctions. And also, Borges said that we could postpone indefinitely 5639, the sports clubs one. So I'll motion to do that.
Okay. It was 5639. Is there a motion to PPI Internal Bill 5639? Any objections? Seeing none, it is postponed indefinitely. All right. Any questions for Chair Rose? All right. Seeing none. Fiscal legislation, none. Internal committee reports. ENA Committee Chair Escobar.
Good evening, Senate. This week in ENA, we saw 3 internal bills and postponed Internal Bill 5654 to next week's ENA meeting.
Any questions? All right, seeing none. GAP Committee Chair Vasquez.
Give me a sec, you guys, sorry. Today we saw resolution 5635, which we adopted and it passed favorably in committee. So I'm excited for that to be seen tonight. And then I intend to pass it on second and third reading. So just letting you guys know. We also discussed preparations for Day at the Capitol. We're just 5 days away. So anyone going, be excited about that. If you guys are attending and have any questions regarding the legislation or the bills, especially if you haven't gone to Day at the Capitol before, let me know. And if you have just any general questions, also let GAC Polera know.
Any questions? All right, seeing none. LJR Committee Chair Courts.
Hi, Senate. Yesterday in committee, we saw 8 absences and 3 internal bills. Connolly, Patel, Morissette, Weiderberg, Lim, Lipner, Kaufman, all approved 5-0 to 1. Internal bills 5652 and 5656 postponed until next committee meeting, and then 5655 passed with a vote count of 4 to 1 to 1. If you scroll down, you'll notice that LJR is seeing a grand total of 18 pieces of legislation next week. If you're going to be absent at one of the next general body meetings and you haven't passed the 2 absence limit, just please consider taking the unexcused absence. Even so, any absences submitted for the upcoming week will probably be postponed unless the senator is at risk of being dismissed. And while you're of course able to have internal bills adopted by committee, I ask that you use your best discernment when doing so. Consider when you're submitting them, if it's detrimental to the session or if it's something that could be considered in the 57th session.
Any questions? All right, seeing none. SBA Committee Chair Hamid.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're all having a great week. So this weekend, we saw Resolution 5622 and Proclamation 5656, both of which passed on first reading. Also next week, both Vice Chair Vasquez and I will be at Day at the Capitol, so we might not have a meeting. So I'm going to figure that out. Last Friday, we hosted our donation drive, Get Some, and it was a big success. Thank you to everyone that came and tabled or just stopped by. It was a lot of fun. We got a lot of donations, and it was really exciting. On Sunday, we donated the extra food that we had from the event with Heart for the Homeless. Thank you to Vice Chair Vasquez, Dieter Lazo, and Chair Kaufman for helping out. I also sent out a message about ways to get involved with Eternal Nights next week if you're interested in volunteering to help set up the seal, which will specifically be a legislative branch thing to do. Please let me know. I have a little thing about the proclamations to say. So in regards to Eternal Nights proclamations we saw last week, I thank everyone who paid attention and gave these members of our community the respect that they deserve. I want to say that I'm extremely disappointed in how some members of our body acted while we saw the Eternal Nights proclamations. It's frustrating and disheartening to see senators on their phones or doing work while we are receiving proclamations talking about individuals who have passed away. These proclamations are a gift from the entire Senate body to the grieving families of these individuals. What kind of message do you think this kind of behavior sends to these families, loved ones, and to the UCF community as a whole? To me, this sends the message that these senators do not care about respecting these individuals. that these individuals were not worth the less than 30 minutes of our lives where we acknowledge and honor their lives that have been cut short. It is a privilege and an honor to be able to have something pass through Senate to be and given as a gift to these families, and I feel as though that honor has been disgraced. I know that we cannot go back in time and change our behavior. However, I hope that this is a moment to reflect and improve, especially for individuals returning to student government next session. That is it.
Any questions? Vasquez.
So I kind of wanted to segue onto Chair Hamid's points about Eternal Nights, specifically in regards to like the announcement Chair Hamid made about participating in the Eternal Nights and setting up the event itself, and just the involvement I feel like I've seen from our branch as a whole. This isn't necessarily like a question, but I want to just touch on our participation, not only at like outreach events, but I did want to point out the only people who signed up to help for Eternal Nights are Chair Hamid, myself, Chair Lazo, and Chair Kaufman, to set up Eternal and who? And Chair Courts, I apologize, to set up Eternal Nights, where half of us are going to be coming from day at the Capitol the day before and be there at, 9 a.m., 8 to set up. So I find it incredibly disheartening on that end that only 5 people out of a branch of, how many is it, 48, are helping to set up an event like this. I also find it just incredibly disheartening to see at any events that not only our branch holds, but caucuses and other branch holds. And, you know, we are the biggest branch in student government. We should see the most participation from our own branch. And I understand any prior commitments like class, obviously that takes priority, but even just any sort of interaction that you have with an event, stopping by in between classes, helping us put away a tent, interacting on Teams, on the channels, on any announcements made, that at least for me, that means something. And I find it really disheartening. And it isn't something that I've seen just now, but the whole session, but even just specifically the past 3 weeks, Chair Escobar and Chair Metellus held the Afro-Latino leadership panel where we had the mayor of Orange County in this room, and it was actually a really awesome experience. And basically we were the only, and Chair Dila Colazo, we're the only people here watching the panel. And at the same time, the Women's Empowerment, Women's Leadership panel hosted by Chair Lazo was happening at the same time. And she and I were the only ones at that event as well. I tabled last week at Downtown and Rosen and here, and Danae and I were the only people at Downtown, and I was the only one at Rosen. So I think, again, I understand that this isn't going to have like much impact. Obviously, this session, we have 2 meetings left, 2 weeks left. But for those of you returning, I think you guys keep in mind to create a welcoming environment and just be more involved and participate, because I feel like our work has a lot of value, but when we're not even showing up for ourselves, it loses that value.
All right. Are there any questions? All right, seeing none, confirmations, none, internal legislation. I'll remind you guys, we're on a short time frame, so let's be cognizant of our time. Notice of legislation on first reading. All right, yeah, it's gonna be a lot. Okay, internal bill 5657, updates to Title III, Ayala Al-Quda, I hereby remand to LJR. Internal bill 5658, updates to Title 14, student government caucuses, Chair Al-Quda, I hereby remand to LJR. Internal Bill 5659, updates to Title V, Dila Colazo, I hereby remand to LJR. Internal Bill 5660, updates to Title VIII, marketing requirements, Chair Kaufman, I hereby remand to FAO. Internal Bill 5661, updates to Title VIII, streamlining the CRT and FAO spending policies, Senator Sherman, I hereby remand to CRT and FAO. Internal Bill 5662, updates to Title IV, the Presidential Cabinet, Chair Escobar, I hereby remand to LJR. Internal Bill 5663, updates to Title VI, SG agents and campaigning, Vice Chair Gaudio, I hereby remand to ENA. Internal Bill 5664, updates to Title VI, internalizing Supervisor of Elections appointing, Chair Karingal, I hereby remand to ENA. Internal Bill 5665, updates to Title V, internalizing Chief Justice appointment, Chair Karingal, I hereby remand to LJR. Internal Bill 5666, updates to Title VI, giving election commissioners more autonomy, Chair Karingal, I hereby remand to ENA. Internal Bill 5667, updates to Title VI, adding election commission seats, Chair Karingal, I hereby remand to ENA. Internal Bill 5668, updates to Title VI, creation of the election rules and procedures, Chair Karingal, I hereby remand to ENA. Internal Bill 5669, updates to Title 14, the student government caucuses, Chair Lipner, I hereby remand to LJR. Internal Bill 5670, updates to Title 4 and 5. Chair Vasquez, I hereby remand to LJR. Internal Bill 5671, updates to Title 3, requiring media training. Deeser Lazo, I hereby remand to LJR. Resolutions. Resolution 5626, updates to Senate Rule 4, the business of the Senate. Chair Alcuda, I hereby remand to LJR. Resolution 5627, updates to Senate Rule 8, Senate Leadership Council. Aile Alcuda, I hereby remand to LJR. Resolution 5628, updates to Senate Rules, general updates and revisions. Vice Chair Gaudio, I hereby remand to LJR. Resolution 5629, updates to Senate Rule 6, removing debate for objections. Vice Chair Gaudio, I hereby remand to LJR. Resolution 5630, updates to Senate Rule 6, requiring a second. Chair Kringle, I hereby remand to LJR. Resolution 5631, resolution urging the University of Central Florida to be recognized as a fair trade school. Chair Lipner, I hereby remand to SBA. Resolution 5632, updates to Senate Rule 4, the business of Senate. Chair Lipner, I hereby remand to LJR. Resolution 5633, resolution to establish a mutual defense compact in defense of academic freedom, institutional integrity, and research enterprise. Chair Lipner, I hereby remand to SBA. Resolution 5634, resolution advocating for credit transfer transparency. Chair Banesh, I hereby remand to SBA. Proclamations, Proclamation 5657, proclamation recognizing UCF's progress toward reaching STARS gold status. Senator Sherman, I hereby remand to SBA. Proclamation 5658, proclamation recognizing the practice of composting at the University of Central Florida. Senator Reed and Senator Candeloro, I hereby remand to SBA. Proclamation 5659, proclamation recognizing May 27, 2025 as Memorial Day. Chair Kringle, I hereby remand to SBA. Proclamation 5660, proclamation recognizing the continued progress in recycling education and participation on campus. Chair Lipner, I hereby remand to SBA. Proclamation 5661, proclamation recognizing April 12th through April 20th, 2025 as Passover. Chair Lipner, I hereby remand to SBA. Proclamation 5662, proclamation recognizing April as Arab Heritage Month. Chair Alcuda, I hereby remand to SBA. All right. Okay, so again, as a reminder to those who just had legislation remanded and you're the author, please be there for the committee meeting. If not, send in a speech. All right. Notice of legislation on third reading, bills, internal bill 50, oh, that's tabled. Internal bill 5644, updates to Title 6, the election statutes. Senator Lazo. Johnson.
President voting.
Chair Johnson, present and voting, so noted at 8:05 p.m. All right, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready. Oh, is there a motion for a 5, 10, 10, and 2-minute individual answer for questioning and 2-minute individual for debate? Any objections? All right, seeing none, 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hi, I'll try to speed through this because we did see this last week. Just to refresh anyone's memory, this is basically just updating our election statutes to further align with what UCF, with what student government actually does and what our purview is. Last time that we saw this, we had a bunch of amendments that kind of clarified what figures or changed it to figures so that we understand the difference between candidates, campaigns, all of those inclusions. And that's going to be it for me. So I yield the rest of my time.
All right, we're now online for questioning. Are there any questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Oh, questions, Joliker?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Anyone wishing to speak in debate? Lipner,
May I retain?
you may.
Yeah, I mean, I made a lot of these amendments. I'm glad to see that they were received positively, and I'll be moving to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. All right, with a vote count of 22 to 3 to 1, Internal Bill 5644 passes on third reading. Okay. Moving on. All right, everything in third reading is tabled, so we'll be going back to that when Borges gets here. Okay. Notice of legislation on second reading. That's tabled, postponed. Okay. Internal Bill 5647, updates to Title 3, Senate appointment. Senator Escobar, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right. For this bill, we postponed it in the middle of the debate. But basically, what this bill does is it changes the amount of students that a Senate seat represents from 1,000 to 1,250. Another thing it does is for colleges with over 10,000 student counts, it gives departments and schools a dedicated seat within the apportioned amount of seats. And it also does like some technical changes and yeah, I yield the rest of my time.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. You guys have 10 minutes. Okay, so at 8:19, we'll be done with questioning. All right, Lipner.
Could you elaborate a little bit more about the expected impact of that 1250 student change and how it may impact how we as senators support those individuals?
Yeah, so the reason for that change was because originally, like UCF had like a population of like 35,000, and now we have around 70,000. So we've doubled in population size, and so it increases the amount that we represent, so that we could like because we do have like a lot of seats allocated to us now. And just having that number, if you're asking what it looks like, I can give you those numbers for the 1250, like based on current student counts. But for functionality, we would still have like committees and like representation able to be like functional.
All right, I'll do Varela, Hamid, Lazo.
So this is going to be relating to the provision about the separate departments within the colleges getting their own seats. In the event that, say, College of Sciences has 15 seats and 13 of those students are going to be within the security and politics department, would that then mean that most of those students wouldn't be able to be part of the legislative branch because, say, there's only going to be 4 allocated seats for that department, even though there's 13 of them to fill, I guess, 15 total seats at College of Sciences?
For elections, it would only be 1 seat per department within the colleges, the larger colleges. So, for instance, sciences and engineering and computer science. For sciences, there are 10 departments and schools. So 10 of the, say, 15 would be dedicated like for each department and school.
Do you have a follow-up? Okay, go ahead.
So then the seats left after divvying up the departments are just going to be wildcard seats?
Yes.
All right, Hamid.
Since this bill is going into effect immediately, would that affect next session's apportionment?
No. So this bill is how it updates how ENA apportions the student body senate. So it would not affect an apportionment. It would affect how the apportionment process would work. So we've already allocated seats for the 57th session. This would apply to how ENA apportions the 58th session.
All right, Lazo.
I was going to ask the same question because I don't think it would be fair for students who have already been elected to lose their seats. Is there any way that you would be amenable to maybe changing the whereas clauses as if this bill would go into effect immediately, just to make that clear that would only affect the 58th session?
We could do that, but yeah, apportionment would be like how the apportionment is passed as a bill itself. We've already passed the apportionment bill for the 57th session, so I don't think it's necessary, but we could amend that.
Follow up.
It's not a follow-up, it's a different question.
Okay, so then I'll circle back Vasquez, Lipner, and then Lazo. And we have about 6 minutes remaining in questioning. Go ahead.
Just to make it clear, the changing it to 1250 seats from the current 1,000, that alone would bring down the amount of seats we would currently have, like representing each college. And on top of that, the allocation by department and college, that would also probably bring down attendance, like not attendance, like how many seats we can fill. Do you think that's a good idea to have both that would both like kind of go against each other to bring down how many students we have to participate?
Yeah, I definitely see that concern. I discussed this in ENA because originally the bill stated the original 1,000 and it amended the departments and schools. I can see like the issue with like, because currently with this current student count, it would bring down like sciences from 14 to 12. So there would only be that like 2 seat, like for like that wild card kind of, but we could like amend it to be like a certain department of a certain population, like a bigger department within the larger college could have its own seat.
Okay, we have about 4.5 minutes remaining. I think Lipner was next.
So obviously we all know that some colleges have schools that are larger than others at a disproportionate level. Do you have any concerns with allocating a single seat to each of those colleges, meaning that certain individuals don't have equal representation?
Yeah, that concern was brought up last meeting. That's why there's an amendment pertaining to the department population.
You may.
Obviously, there's still a discrepancy of 500 students as it's currently written. Is that concern still valid? Do you have any response for that? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Could you elaborate on the 500?
Yeah, looking at the discrepancy between 750 students with the amendment that you mentioned versus the 1250 students per seat.
Yeah, I did not introduce the amendment, so I can't speak on it, but it just, because departments are not colleges, so, but some are bigger than our current colleges as allocated. I guess that was why the amendment was introduced.
If you can answer that question, D-Leg, Lazo? Okay, so then I'll do Lazo, and we have about 3 minutes remaining in questioning.
2, if I may?
You may. We have 3 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm just a little confused. What if the predicted level of enrollment is way less than what has been advertised or done in the past? How do you think that'll affect Senate apportionment and how we fill those seats?
I guess, could you elaborate on like, because that does happen regardless of this bill, could you elaborate on like?
Yeah, I just worry because in the past, apportionment bills in ENA have been done using the IKM and what the current enrollment numbers are, and we base those off of rather than predicted numbers of enrollment. So using the more concrete of the past, I think that allows us a little bit more wiggle room. So with the prediction of future enrollment or following semesters, if there are large discrepancies between those numbers and those predictions, how do you think that will affect apportionment and how we fill out the quorum?
Yeah, so I believe this bill doesn't change that. It has been the predicted amount, like the predicted enrollment. With the amendments for like when it says like the predicted enrollment for the following semester, that hasn't changed.
Do you have an answer to that, Brody?
Yeah, I think just to help clarify, that language of predicted has always been there. The changes to using IKM to using AIP, they just changed the name of the system. It's the same system, just changed the name.
Okay, and then your second question. We have a minute and a half remaining in questioning.
I'll give it to D-Leg.
Okay, D-Leg.
In section 302.3, subsection B, subsection 2, subsection 3, sorry. You added the portion any officer position the center held in their previous seat shall be transferred to their new seat if confirmed. I just want to know the reasoning, because the Senate President Pro Tempore switched her seat and maintained her position as the Senate President Pro Tempore.
Yes. So that section was based off because there was an opinion of the Attorney General that like what happened was not in line with the Senate statute. So we just wanted to make sure that so like in the President Pro Tempore's case that the position would be able to be like transferred because that opinion was stated. Also that provision. Yeah.
If you have a follow-up, we have 30 seconds remaining. Go ahead.
Which Attorney General opinion? Was it the one issued by Attorney General Moore or Polera?
I cannot recall. This amendment was made in ENA by one of our members because of that opinion. I don't recall specifically which one.
All right. Well, questioning time is about to go off. Has about elapsed. So I'll take a motion. Lipner.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to debate. Are there any objections? Do you object? All right. So we're now in debate. You guys have 10 minutes with 2 minutes each. I'll do Joliker, Lipner. Oh, wait. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm going to see the amendments first. Okay. Is there anyone who wants to pick up Wanjins? Okay, Dila Clauso.
I'm just going to move to see my amendment.
Okay, there's been a motion to see Dila Clauso's amendment. Which one is it? The one at the top? Okay. Any objections? All right, seeing none, whenever you're ready.
I think this one's a little self-explanatory. We're saying it's going to apply for the 58th, but I think it's just better to say it's going to apply for 58 just in case. And with that, I yield.
All right, are there any questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Lipner.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Joliker.
Move to vote.
There's been
I
a motion.
object.
You object. Do you withdraw?
I withdraw.
You withdraw. All right, Lipner.
Chair Colazzo, would you be open to seeing my amendment as a friendly?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Lipner.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? All right, seeing none or non-voting procedures on De La Clauso's amendment. All right, with a vote count of 25 to 1-0, the amendment passes. All right, we still have a couple more amendments. Is there anyone who wants to pick up Wanjins? Vasquez.
I was gonna erase it.
You were gonna erase it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still writing my amendment. I'm making an amendment right now.
To erase it? Okay. All right. You're making a new amendment? Okay. All right. Anyone wishing to speak in debate on the bill while we're waiting? Because I think the last 2 minutes are Wanjins and then Vasquez, which I don't think she's done with. You're not done with your amendments yet? Okay. Anyone wishing to speak? Joliker.
This is on debate for the bill, correct?
This is on the bill, yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to this bill, I do support, or at least I'm amicable to the idea of dedicating specific seats to departments and schools within larger colleges. I see that as potentially some welcome diversity within the colleges themselves. However, I do not support the increase in the number of students represented per seat. I frankly do not see the reason why we would need to change this. As far as I see it, all this does is decrease representation of the students
within the Senate. We have plenty of seats available in this college as well. I'm sorry, in this university. There's simply no need to do this. Decreasing representation in the student body is not part of our mission as senators. And as far as I see it doing so, squeezing the supply of Senate seats, the only thing that will achieve is making Senate a more exclusive popularity club, and it will set a further precedent for changing this again in the future. I don't like the idea of this. I think it is a dangerous precedent to set to limit the representation. Furthermore, there is the disparity with representation in the schools at 750 seats or more. And with the questioning that was going on, I simply see that there's a lot of issues and some adversity to this bill. I foresee it failing. I encourage you all to vote no on this bill.
All right, Vasquez.
Motion to see my amendment.
All of them?
Yeah.
All right, there's been a motion to see Chair Vasquez amendments. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so I just wrote this just now. So if anyone has any amendments that they want to make, I'm open to any friendlies. But the intention behind this is kind of to apportion what? Oh, I thought you, sorry. To apportion the seats, kind of like how they're apportioned like to the colleges, but also to the departments. So I think the best way I can explain the way that it's working in my mind is by giving an example. For example, if College of Sciences is given 10 seats, and then the College of Politics, whatever the whole name of the college is, I don't know the whole name, it's a long one, is like half of the population of College of Sciences, they should be given half of the seats in Senate, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my mind, but if there's a way to put my mind into words, I'm open to that. But then I think like the smaller departments and schools should still obviously have at least one seat saved for those colleges if they can be filled. But I do think that it should reflect, like Joliker had mentioned before, that if a department or school is bigger just by nature in that college, that should be reflected in the amount of seats, so representation is equal in Senate. I yield to questioning.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. Rudy Hamid Lipner.
Do you think this would still cause the issue with less representation if those seats couldn't be filled?
I mean, just by the nature of saying if there's more students in that college, there should be more students that like would be able to fill. If there's only like 5 students in one of the, not that that's real, but like compared to like 100, there's higher chance that 100 can fill 5 seats than 5 can fill 5 seats, you know?
Hamid.
Do you think that this would cause a disproportionate amount of a certain major or a certain college being represented compared to tinier college? Let's use your example. 10 seats in total for College of Sciences, 5 go to the College of Politics. Sorry, I'm not in College of Sciences. But that means that 5 of those people, half the entire college is only one college. That feels like the other half of the college gets kind of like not a lot. Do you think that would cause a problem, or it would make it inequitable?
So my intention is for it to evenly reflect all of the departments and schools. So if the School of Politics has like half of the population of College of Sciences, they should be given half of the seats. And then if then from there, let's say 25% of the college is biology, then 25% of the seats should be given to biology. And then the remaining 25% of the 100% of College of Sciences population, let's say is, what's another school, like chemistry, they should be given the remaining seats in Senate. It should just evenly reflect. So these are just numbers I'm throwing out, but it should just be like if there's 10, it should be like 2 to this major, 2 to that major, 1 to that major, 1, 1, 1. That's probably how it'll end up being.
Lipner. Or Brody, do you have an answer to that?
Not an answer necessarily, but I just, if this is the route you want to go, I think a simpler and cleaner way to do it would just be to allocate 1 seat per 1,000 students in each college or department, or in each department or school. And then you're not allocating, okay, so the College of Sciences has this many seats, and then each department gets this many seats. You could just do it from the beginning and say, okay, the School of Political Science has 4,000 students, they get 4 seats. The School of Nicholson has 3,000 students, they get 3 seats.
All right, Lipner.
This is a pretty niche situation, but I'm almost certain that there's some departments or schools that do not meet the threshold of that 1,000 individuals. Do you have any concerns with those majors not being represented at all in the Senate if this passes?
So I did write that every department or school should have at least 1 seat.
Go ahead.
Assuming that it's not even in a school or department, what would you say to that? It being a major, sorry.
Aren't all majors in a school or department?
I believe there are a few that are kind of just housed within the college and float in between.
This is new information.
Okay. Any further questions, Lazo?
So in one of your amendments in B, you state that each department and school should have at least 1 seat within their respective college. That worries me because the College of Arts and Humanities, which I represent, has 2 schools and 5 departments. So that would be a total of 7 seats when the College of Arts and Humanities in reality only has 4 seats. So I'm a little bit confused on how that apportionment would work. If you could elaborate.
I can't.
Varela.
So for College of Sciences specifically, like, considering that obviously many people in the College of Sciences tend to be part of the School of Security, Politics, International Relations, considering that is not one of the largest schools in sciences, psychology and biology tend to be the largest schools in sciences. Do you think it's unfair to kind of limit the amount of the security kids? Because obviously there's more interest there, but they'll only get 2 seats, even though almost half of College of Sciences are kids from that school.
Real. I mean, if it's evenly representing how the population looks, then no. But I mean, I would personally, I'm in favor of this amendment passing over allocating to departments and schools. I would rather just remove that whole stipulation as a whole than this amendment. So I can also just make that amendment.
Lipner, actually Hamid and then Lipner, sorry.
I was going to move to debate. Okay, move to debate.
There's been a motion to debate. Any objections? All right, seeing none, Lazo.
Are you amenable to seeing my amendment as friendly?
Yes.
Hamid.
So I'm going to be speaking against this amendment. I think that the example brought up by DJ Lazo of Arts and Humanities has 4 seats here, but way too many things to put in those 4 seats. I think that this is going to cause way too many problems. And I think that there is a simpler solution. And I think that, obviously this could work for the bigger colleges, but then like we have to add the stipulation of, oh, well, if it's above this much students, then we could have it. But then it's like, it's weird. So I feel like I don't really like this. And I feel like it would not help the body.
Do you have a question? Go ahead.
Just a quick question. Wouldn't that still be like a problem how the bill reads?
I fear I don't like that part of the bill either.
Wait, I have another question.
Go ahead.
Can I delete my amendment and just make it deleting the whole D section?
You can retract. You can retract.
Ooh, I can do that? Okay, I withdraw my amendment.
Okay. All right, we're still in debate on the bill. Varela.
Motion to see my amendment.
All right, there's been a motion to see Vice Chair Varela's amendment. Where is it? Is it deleted? All right, there's been a motion to see Chair Varela's amendment. Any objections? All right, seeing none whenever you're ready.
Sorry, the formatting got kind of messed up. What this amendment is trying to do is just eliminate that provision for allocating separate seats to departments and schools, because I think that is kind of a difficult thing to legislate. I think if there's just more interest from a certain school department, there's more interest. There's more people who want to be in Senate. For example, for political science, right? There's obviously, we all know, an outsized number of political science and security kids within this body. This is because this happens to the US Senate that appeals to kids who are in the politics, like myself. I'm a political science major, and I think that when you kind of artificially apportion seats like this, you run the risk of leaving some seats open artificially, like smaller schools. Like I know there is like data science, mathematics, journalism, though we tend to not get those majors very often. So you're running the risk of fundamentally leaving seats open and not letting a lot of students become part of student government. Because again, when you're allocating those wildcard seats are probably going to go to political science kids. And it's going to be maybe 4 or 5 of them at most. That means poli-sci gets maybe 6 seats from around the over half the college is poli-sci. Like I think you're leaving out a lot of students. And for like not arbitrary reason, but just for a reason that's going to leave seats open in the future. So for that reason, I think that we should just get rid of this D part, the section D of this bill. And I think it is much cleaner. And I think maybe if you want to get more, say, psychology kids or other kids from different departments, that's a problem for election commission to do more targeted advertising towards those people.
All right, we're now line for questioning. Karingle,
Just 2 quick points of information, if I may.
go ahead.
The only 2 colleges currently over 10,000 students are College of Sciences and College of Computer Engineering and Computer Science. The next 2 colleges, the top 3 and 4 slots are business with 8,000 and health professions and sciences with 5,000. And as NSF chair, we were told by university admissions people, because our ANSF fee is based off of admission, the university plans on keeping enrollment around 60 to 70,000 students and not really moving too much from there. So,
All right, any questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Lazo.
Move to debate.
All right, there's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate on the amendment. Anyone wishing to speak in debate? Vasquez.
I love this. Can I move to vote?
Yes. Or
I object.
Brody.
Just really quickly, would you also want to strike the additions of the word department from the final section there?
Yes.
All right. Escobar.
You would also need to strike through school because that's no longer needed.
Technically, school is there and it was there before because occasionally there are some schools that don't fit within a college. For a period of time, Nicholson School was fit into kind of 2 colleges, so it had its own seats until it was absorbed by the College of Sciences. So that's why school is there, but not anything else.
All right. Trey Hernandez.
I just have a general question for whoever can answer. At one point, what is this bill now? Because like, I'm more confused. It's like, okay, we've gotten rid of apportioning, and then I see amendments about getting rid of like the not decreasing how many students we have, and then the point's like it just becomes like, what is the bill now at this point? We've workshopped the bill towards not what it is originally, and I just feel like at this point, PPI it. There.
Okay, Varela, you can answer that.
Okay, yeah, so the bill right now is very colorful. There are many amendments on it. This specific amendment is just meant to kind of get rid of the departments and of the specifications. I don't think that we've made any decision on the 1,000 or 1,250 students yet.
Okay, so all of your department strikeouts are to go with this. Do you accept as a friendly? Lazo's amendments as what? It shows Lazo on mine.
Accept as a friendly.
Okay. Joliker.
May I retain?
You may.
Look, we've got a lot going on here, and this is only getting worse by the minute.
This is just the amendment.
I understand. I know we need to vote on the amendment, but if I may just say, I really think we should just PPI this thing and move on. We're starting to dedicate a lot of time to this, and we have a lot to take care of. This thing is clearly not working out as it stands right now. And I just wanted to put that out there for everyone. Let's be aware of the time constraint.
Lipner.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the amendments. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none, we're now in voting procedures on the amendments. It's all of Vice Chair Varela's as well as DSER Lazo's. With a vote count of 24 to 1, the amendments pass. Are there any further amendments on the page? Okay. All by Lipner or Richmond?
At this point, I'd like to motion the PPI. It can always be picked up next session or even next meeting, just so we can work this out when we're not in a tight meeting.
I object.
You object.
I do not withdraw.
Okay. 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 All right. You have 2 minutes whenever you're ready. Do you like Colazo?
Thank you. Regardless if things have been removed, these are still updates that are necessary for within the statutes, and some of these changes actually make the statutes more concise, which is the whole point of making a bill, especially updating the title name for the apportionment system and just other technical things. It was stated that if we PPI it, we'll just pick it back up. And if that's the intention, that we might as well just see it now. There's not a lot of time left. I don't think it should be PPI'd. If anything, if there's such grand concern, just remand it back to the E&A committee and they'll figure it out from there. However, there are still good portions of this bill. And I think that we're being a little too hasty. Yeah, I yield.
All right. You have 2 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right. Obviously, saying what I just said, I don't think this is time sensitive. I don't think it's not going into effect till the 58th session. So I think that although I do agree there are things in this bill that are great, those things can be passed next session when we have time. There's a lot more pressing matters on here that we need to get to. You've been just tabling it. We need to do something though.
All right. We're now in 5 minutes of a debate period. All right. Hamid, Morset, Varela.
Would the body be amendable to just re-remanding this to E&A?
Honestly, if you're going to re-remand, we're going to have way more bills next session. So I think we either decide if this is going to go or stay tonight. We work on it tonight or next session deals with it. That's my recommendation to you guys.
Really?
Based on what we see.
Taking that into account, I think we should see this now. I think we'll have to see it at some point. I feel like we can get this done really quickly if we just kind of lock in. And I think the next change is kind of we can do it. We just gotta lock in.
Who did I say? Morset.
Can I direct a question to Brody?
You may.
If we PPI this and it gets picked up next session, would it have to get picked up before next session passes their apportionment bill for it to work, or does it matter? It doesn't matter when they pick it up.
Yeah, they would have to, similar to right now, not affecting the next session. They would have to pass a bill affecting the apportionment before they pass the apportionment bill for it to go into effect.
Okay. Did you have debate, or that was it? Okay, Varela.
Yeah, first thing I want to say is this is why I've been being a drum of not having multiple things being changed by the same bill. In case we're we hate this part, we love this part, now we're caught between a rock and a hard place. But generally, I think that it's smart to just handle this tonight. I think that considering that amendment passed pretty not controversially, I don't think we're very divided on this bill. I think we I don't know. I think we're maybe on the same boat, but I'm not quite sure. But I think we can work it out in at most 15 minutes, probably less. So I just say that we finish it up, and then also may I retain the floor?
You may.
Move to vote.
All right. There's been a motion to vote. Remember, the objection is that we are going to see the bill. So that would be yes. The motion is no to PPI. That means we will not see the bill tonight. All right, the vote count of 13 to 12 to 0, the objection holds, but it's clear that we want to get a move in, so let's get to it. Lipner, are all the amendments yours?
Yes, they are.
All right, go ahead.
So my amendments start with.
Or we
unstriking-
have to make the motion to see the amendment.
Motion to see my amendment, sorry.
There's been a motion to see Chair Lipner's amendments. Any objections? Seeing none, whenever you're ready.
Alrighty, so essentially I unstruck through the prior to the start of each election period and then the 1,000 senators or students per senator, and then struck through everything that we added there, and essentially am reverting this bill to allow that the change for AIP as opposed to IKM, which is no longer being used, making the apportionment verbiage a little bit more clear and keeping things a little bit more statutorily correct with the change in senators keeping their old officer seats. So this bill still has merit after the amendments, and I urge you all to vote yes.
Okay. Morset Hamid.
Is the purpose of this amendment because you were against those pieces that were in the bill, or because you're trying to save time with this bill and make sure that we either pass or deny it quickly tonight?
Both. I saw people talking about not being happy with the 1250, myself included, and so I didn't see why we should have all those added parts if we were just going to revert back to the 1000.
Hamid.
Sorry if you mentioned this, but is there a reason why what was the reason for striking out A, B, and D?
Looking at A, B, and D, I just wanted to make sure that the bill stayed as concise as possible, and I felt like once we A being or B being the 1250.
Sorry, I asked the wrong question. D, is there a reason why you struck out A, B? Oh wait, A, C, and D. So sorry.
Yes. Okay. So essentially, I just wanted to return it back to where it was originally in the no longer struck through period that is above that. I unstruck through that part just to keep it more concise and condensed because I didn't feel the need to keep it in bullet point order.
All right. Seeing no further hands, De La Clauso.
I was going to ask the senator if he would see my amendments as a friendly. I'm adding schools back into 302.1 because it was previously removed, but we're keeping schools now.
I don't think we're keeping schools.
I believe, yeah, Varela, I think.
I might be like misremembering, but I think it was Brody said we should keep schools because some schools aren't in colleges. So.
Okay. So do you accept that as a friendly?
I guess I'm confused what he's referring to then.
In 302. If I may, sorry.
Go ahead.
In 302.1, it was previously crossed out, and schools that are not associated with the college, each college and school that was previously crossed out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll accept that. Thank you.
And then I put the thes back in the final section.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much. I'll accept those as friendlies.
Morset.
May I direct a question to Brody and then possibly a follow-up to Lipner?
You may.
Does the part where it says the apportionment shall be passed prior to the start of each election period, can that be erased or does it have to stay? Brody.
May I answer? So it's actually stated following the AIP, it says prior to the start of each election period. I just unstruck that through because it was moved to become a bullet point and then I moved it back.
Okay.
Any further questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Joliker.
Move to
Debate.
Wait, are we on questioning right now?
We're in questioning.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Is there any debate? If not, I'll take a motion. Joliker.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the amendments. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 19 to 7 to 0, the amendments pass. That should be all the amendments on the page. Muratov?
Are we in debate?
We're in debate.
Move to vote.
There's been you object?
I did not. No.
Hughes amendment. Do you withdraw?
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I withdraw.
Okay. There's been a motion to see De La Clauso's amendments. Any objections? Seeing none, go ahead.
Seeing as the changes no longer will affect anything, the bill can go into effect immediately. I yield.
All right. We're now online for questioning. Lipner?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, Joliker.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures on the amendment. With a vote count of 22 to 1 to 2, the amendments pass, and then we're all done with the amendments, correct? All right, Varela.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? You object?
Yes.
Do you,
I withdraw.
You withdraw? Okay, thank you. Okay, Trejo Hernandez,
May I direct a question to Chair Escobar?
you may.
How do you feel about all the changes that we've made that we've basically done?
So this bill was passed favorably in ENA. Everyone voted in favor of these changes. The bill now doesn't really do anything, but vote in favor.
Okay, you have follow-up? Go ahead.
This bill has now become, it's just kind of doing nothing. And I've been in negation since very beginning, and I will be voting negation for this because just like doing nothing. So
All right, Lipner.
2, if I may.
2, we're in debate. Do you have questions?
The first one is a technical amendment.
Okay, go ahead.
Just in line 30243B2, there's a second 2 added. I just wanted to remove it so that way it's
All right, I'll see the
good.
technical.
And then my debate, I'll be voting in favor of this. I think this is important and does still do something. Clarifying what apportionment is and how it should be done is very vital. Changing what source the data comes from, whether it be IKP versus AIP. Those are 2 different systems, and we have to have that clarified within Senate statutes. Additionally, the change where we have the previous seats transferring their officer positions to new seats if confirmed is absolutely necessary and was cited by D. Leg Collazo as an important change. So for that reason, I'll be voting in favor, and I urge you all to do the same.
All right, Joliker.
The danger that was originally presented in this bill is no longer present. I agree with Lipner. I was in negation, but with the clarifications now presented in it, I will be voting in favor. I encourage us all to do the same. Pass this through. Let's move on. Move to vote.
You object?
I withdraw.
Okay, De La Clausa. There's been a motion to see De La Clausa's amendments. Are there any objections? Seeing none, whenever you're ready.
Is whereas clause no longer applies to the bill. I yield.
All right, any questions? Kringle?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Lipner?
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 21 to 5 to 0, the amendment passes. Kringle.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the bill. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. All right, with a vote count of 20 to 6 to 0, Internal Bill 5647 passes on second reading. Internal Bill 5648 updates to Title 8 Outside Funding Transparency. Chair Kaufman, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right. Hello, everyone. This bill about outside funding transparency is overall to help the FAO committee make better decisions when looking at funding requests in the future. Inspiration behind this bill came from hearing that many different individuals and RSOs had to attend ORS because they paid for their trip, event, project, whatever, with other sources of funding and then ended up reverting all of their student government funds. I talked to many people about this, including the other fiscal chairs, and they agreed that something like this would be beneficial to the committees. It was my thought that if we had known about these other sources of funding, we'd be able to help the individual or RSO better utilize their resources and not have to go through the SG sanctioning process. And now these individuals are sanctioned because they use these other sources. So having knowledge about these other sources, as stated on the bill, like sponsors, donations, dues, operating budgets, will be able to help the committee make decisions and allocate the and help the Senate body make decisions when voting on bills. But I just want to make it clear that it's not for us to pick and choose who gets funding based on what they are already able to attain. For us, it's to potentially help those requesting to utilize their resources to the best and not have to go through ORS and hopefully stretch our funding even a little more than we already do into the session. And I just want to add very quickly that a line exactly like this I wrote is written onto Internal Bill 5650, which is the CRT updates bill. To save time, everything I just said applies to that one. So thanks, and I yield the rest of my time.
All right, we're now online for questioning. You guys have 10 minutes. Lipner, Varela, Benesh.
Can I motion to see those bills as a block?
I object.
Okay, I withdraw them.
All right, Varela.
I was going to move to debate.
Motion to move. There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. You guys have 10 minutes and 2 minutes each. Benesh.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. All right, with the vote count of 26 to 0 to 1, Internal Bill 5648 passes on second reading. Internal Bill 5649 postponed. Internal Bill 5650 CRT Committee recommended updates to Title 8. Chair Kringle, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Cool. Yeah, that's exactly what the title says. We're just kind of fixing definitions and also the naming of some of our chapters, as well as updating our allocation stipends and the actual cap amounts. And I'm also updating the timeline to the NSF Business Office recommended timeline. And I'll yield.
All right, we're now online for questioning. Are there any questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Dila Colazo.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. You guys have 2 minutes. Lipner, 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think the CRT committee really spent a long time kind of looking over these numbers and determining what would be best for students. And we reached a really great middle ground where we're having research presentations, performance arts trips, observational research trips, all kind of being funded at the same, and then competitions being slightly less, and then seminar networking being the least. I think this allows for us to stretch out our funding as much as possible and hopefully have more funds available. As far as all of the other stuff, it is relatively common sense to me that we ask for these things, and I'm glad to see that it's being worked into statute now. Thank you.
Dila Colazo.
I move to see Chair Kringle's amendment.
There's been a motion to see Chair Kringle's amendment. Any objections? Am I looking at the? Okay, got it. Any objections? All right, seeing none, whenever you're ready.
Can we just as a technical, maybe? It just doesn't really change anything. It just kind of makes it more proper English.
Yeah, I'll see it as a technical. Okay, we are still there. All right, courts.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. All right, with a vote count of 25 to 0 to 0, Internal Bill 5650 passes on second reading. Internal Bill 5651 updates to Title III, allowing any senator to motion to vote on presidential appointees. Chair Kringle, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Yeah, once again, just like the title says, I just think ever since I joined Senate 2 years ago, I've always kind of had a question about like so many different things. All those questions have been answered for the most part, except for this one. I've always never understood why only ENA leadership or the pro temp can call to vote on these when I think everyone should, and even all the other senators, especially new ones, are confused as well. So I just think making this makes it easier, and I see no reason for it just be ENA, so I'll yield.
All right, we're now online for questioning. Lipner,
May I retain?
you may.
Just quick question. Just want to confirm that this applies to both like cabinet from the exec side of things and also Senate apportion? Or comments, rather?
Yes, and this basically just makes it so we no longer need ENA leadership to be the only ones to call the vote for anything.
Awesome. With that, move to debate.
All right, there's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Dila Colazo.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections?
Object. You
You
can't
object?
vote. Bobby left the room.
Oh, can't vote. You're right. I think we have exactly 25 right now.
So
I meant when I saw Chris leave, I meant to say like no one else can leave, but I forgot.
I think he went to the bathroom.
Okay, yeah, we have to move when we get back.
So let us speak.
Okay. Okay, yeah, sorry guys. I meant to say it when I saw Corelli leave, but we have exactly 25 right now, so we can't vote if everyone is not in the room. Courts.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? All right, seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. All right, with a vote count of 25 to 0, Internal Bill 5651 passes on second reading. Okay, it looks like Internal Bill 5652 updates to Title III, postponing committee, updates, Internal Bill 5653 postponed, Internal Bill 5654 postponed in committee, Internal Bill 5655 updates to Title IV. Senator Muratov, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Excuse me. All right, I'm ready. I'm sorry. All right, so my bill updates Title IV, which is a title for the events. Specifically, it updates Chapter 408, called "The Day at the Capitol," according to the recent events that happened in a GAP committee. I think you all heard what happened, and Chair Vasquez was saying a statement on it. But the long story short, a lot of GAP members who applied for a Day at the Capitol event were denied without proper reasoning. And we, as a GAP committee, feel that this is not fair, and we should do something. And this bill is actually is addressing this problem. It makes sure that the first is to publish clear, objective eligibility criteria for participation in the Day of the Capitol event, no later than 30 academic days prior to start of an application process. And the second, provide written notification to all decisions applicants within 5 academic days of the decision, detailing the specific rationale for denial based on the published criteria. And the third, it establishes an appeals process allowing denied applicants to petition to the student body president for review within 5 academic days of receiving denial. Basically, all 3 provisions here helps to mitigate such problem in the future of GAP committee members. And with that, I would yield my time.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. You guys have 10 minutes. Varela.
What if the Day of the Capitol coordinator is the president?
Is that possible?
Yeah.
Well, then you would apply to him your appeal. Yeah.
All right. Morset Lipner.
Do you believe that the 408.1 subsection 2 is reasonable? Because if I remember correctly, and either Chair Vasquez or anyone else can correct me, there was a lot of advocacy around 80. So this section would require that the coordinator gives detailed rationale to all 80 applicants based off of the decision that they make. So do you believe this is reasonable for that one coordinator to do within 5 academic days of all those decisions being made?
Yes, I think that's necessary because people want to know why exactly they get denied. And I believe that 5 academic days is more than enough. The rationale doesn't need to be like an essay long, right? It could be a couple statements, but if you already set your criterias, and then you just can do a bunch of statements based on the criterias. It shouldn't be very long.
You have an answer to that? Go ahead.
It does say rationale for denial, so it would just be anyone who was denied a spot, and then also I would be open to making it upon request. So anyone who asks for the rationale shall be given it.
I think I said Lipner next.
I yield.
All right. Any further questions? Varela?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? All right. Seeing none, you guys have 10 minutes beginning now. Varela?
Motion to see my amendments.
There's been a motion to see Vice Chair Varela's amendments. Any objections? Seeing none, whenever you're ready.
Hey, kind of the bulk of this amendment is removing the part 3, the appeal process, because like technically the president just has jurisdiction over this period. He can change whatever he wants. For example, I petitioned the president because I thought my denial was unjust, and he overturned the decision to deny me. So that's just something that already kind of exists. I don't think it needs to be specifically codified because, again, the daily capital coordinator could be the president. So you're going to petition the president of a decision he made. To me, it's kind of already the case that the president can change whatever he wants about the denial or acceptance of daily capital. So this provision seems a little bit redundant, a little bit unnecessary. Then also, let's say Chair Vasquez is making a friendly, but also change the section 2 to upon request, just so you're not issuing 30 denial emails.
All right. Any questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Muratov?
That's a question, right?
You aren't questioning.
Oh, sorry. How are you?
Lipner?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Vasquez?
Can you see my amendments as a friendly?
Yes.
All right. We're now in debate. Muratov, Morset, Courts.
Well, while your case still stays that the president reviewed your denial, this might not be the case for everyone else. This might not be the case for students in future. And I believe that students should know that they could go to student body president to try to appeal their decision. It doesn't make president to make a decision, right? It doesn't say you have to do it, but it just says you can do it. And it might work like it did work in your case. And I believe that the provision 3 should stay. It's because it's very crucial.
Morset?
Yeah, I'll be voting in favor of the amendment. I did have a problem with the fact that the data capital coordinator would have to provide all those emails. Thank you for Chair Vasquez for pointing out that it was denial emails, but I like the upon request part that was initiated. Also, the other part of the amendment, since Dak Polera did point out earlier when the question was pointed to Comptroller Similo, that you can just ask the student body president, and I guess that kind of shows that in this situation, the appellate process did work for specifically Vice Chair Varela's situation.
Courts? Oh, sorry. Collazo?
In my opinion, I think subsection 3 should remain. I do think I know the appellate process worked this time. It doesn't mean it's going to work every time, right? So I think for continuity purposes, I think we should enshrine it into statutes. That way there can be a non-compliance or a censured issue if they don't uphold to that appellate process. And I agree with Senator Muratov that not everybody's case is going to be the same. In this unique case, the applicant who was appealed was the vice chair of GAP. So there's already an incentive to allow that member to be a part of the Day at the Capitol group. So at this point in time, I will be voting in negation of these amendments.
Morset and then Lipner.
Can I direct a question to either Senator Muratov or Dila Collazo?
You may.
What do you two mean when it says that when you make the statement that it may not work in the future, since the student body president, from my understanding, holds the power over like the data capital coordinator in terms of making those decisions. That appellate process kind of works in terms of like implied powers already. So having a statute or not having a statute, what would cause like in the future for that appellate process to not work or to fail in any way?
You can answer.
It would require the president to actually hear the applicant out. Without this amendment, it does not require the president to hear the applicant out. They can simply ignore the email or ignore the appeal altogether. So this would require the president to actually hear the individual out, regardless if their appeal has merit.
Lipner,
We're in debate, right?
we are in debate. Yeah.
Okay, I will also be voting in negation of this amendment. I basically agree with all of what Colazo said. I think that the application process for an appeals is very important, especially just to make sure that individuals who are not a member of student government have access to that information, and so that way it's not get kept behind a closed door. With that, can I move to vote?
You can make the motion.
I withdraw.
All right. Colazo.
I move to separate the amendments.
All right. There's been a motion to separate the amendments. Any objections? All right. Seeing none, we're still, so now we're seeing, I guess, just Vice Chair Varela's amendments. All right. I think we know which way we're voting, so I'll go ahead and take a motion. Lipner.
Move to vote.
All right. There's been a motion
I
to vote.
object.
You object.
I just wanted to clarify that I'm motioning to separate the amendments between section 2 and section 3.
Yes.
Right? Okay, I just wanted to, so we're voting on
We're
which
voting
section
on
now?
Vice Chair Varela's amendments.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Yes.
Can I say a piece of debate?
You may.
I'll withdraw.
Okay.
Okay. I don't really know how I feel about this because as much as I understand both sides, and obviously as the GAP chair, I've seen both sides of the argument. I feel like the way that it's phrased, establishing an appeals process, the interview process itself is barely described as a guideline. So I think adding more of a provision as to adding to their job kind of overcomplicates things. This doesn't really define the appeals process. So I think even if an appeal was made, it could still be ignored. There's nothing really against them like ignoring it. So I don't really think this point 3 makes a difference. So I'm neither really like for or against it.
All right. Varela.
May I retain?
You may. I think we need to make a decision and vote on this amendment. You may.
Okay, no, I was just going to say that like the appeal process is going to exist no matter what, because again, the president has absolute power over data capital coordinator. The president can be data capital coordinator. It's also kind of a paradox you're not kind of addressing. Is like, what if he just is a data capital coordinator, and then your appeal was probably cooked anyway? So with that, motion to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on just Vice Chair Varela's amendment. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 15 to 9 to 1, Vice Chair Varela's amendment passes. Vasquez.
Motion to see my amendments.
There's been a motion to see Chair Vasquez amendments. Any objections? Seeing none, whenever you're ready.
This is just what we discussed before, just making it so that the written notifications about the decisions of any denials is just upon request. Like Morris had pointed out, there could be like 50
Wait,
denials.
yeah, just keep going and then we'll get to it later. But
Yeah,
keep going.
that's it. I yield.
All right, Colazo.
We didn't have.
Oh. We didn't have quorum? That was 25.
Oh,
That's quorum, right?
sorry.
Okay. Yeah, just so you guys know, we are low on quorum. So, all right. Order. I don't have a gavel, but order. All right, we're in line for questioning. Courts, Joliker.
May I retain quickly?
We're in questioning.
I'll just wait.
Okay. Courts.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Joliker.
Okay, now may I retain?
You may.
I apologize. This isn't really related to this bill, but it is related to tonight. I just don't know what else to say it. I have to catch the last shuttle, but I don't want to risk breaking quorum tonight because I don't have my car right now. Is anyone willing to drop me off back home once we finish tonight? I'm only at Northgate.
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
For sure.
I'm done.
All right.
Decorum.
All right. Order. Okay. We're in debate. Lipner, I think we all know. Let's
Move
keep
to
it.
vote.
All right. Motion to vote. All right. Okay. Order, guys. Motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 23 to 1, the amendment passes. We're still in debate on the bill. Varela,
Move to vote.
there's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures on the bill. All right, with a vote count of 23 to 1, internal bill 5655 passes on second reading. All right, internal bill, I'm pretty sure that's it for internal. Internal bill 5656 updates to Title 12, Senator Muratov postponing committee resolutions. Oh, for Gaudios. All right, Gaudio's coming, right? Okay, courts.
Motion to postpone resolution 5621.
There's been a motion to postpone resolution 5621. Any objections? Seeing none, resolution 5621 is postponed. Collazo.
This is like more of like a point of inquiry. How are you voting if you're not going to?
I never vote.
Okay.
I usually don't press anything.
But if we're exactly 25, then how's the vote count 25?
You can answer that more probably precisely.
Oh, we have 26. Okay, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, usually I don't press anything. All right. Resolution 5622, resolution calling for the end of hazing at UCF. Senator Escobar, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hello. Okay. Yeah. So basically, this resolution is calling for and denouncing the recent events of hazing, not singular to those events, but all instances of hazing at UCF. Recently, there have been allegations and investigations into UCF Greek life chapters on incidences of hazing. These incidences involved the injuries of a student. They also involved hateful behavior within these instances and otherwise. But yeah, basically this calls for the Senate to denounce and condemn these actions. It also has provisions that are student body president issue a public condemnation of hazing, and also that the UCF student government promotes anti-hazing measures. Also that this resolution be hung up in Greek life facilities, including chapter houses and the Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life. With that, I yield my time.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. Lipner,
May I retain?
you may. Or more so, you have a question? All right, never mind, but you can ask your question.
Yeah, no worries. I noticed that you mentioned a lot of fraternities and sororities on this list. Do you know if all of them have suspensions or related concerns with hazing specifically, or if they're just suspended or misconduct in general.
That whereas clause was specifically for misconduct, because the instances of hazing are currently under investigation. There's no I guess we can't prove that they're guilty of these instances, but it's just highlighted that many chapters are under investigation for misconduct, not solely related to hazing, but hazing is an example of crime on campus that should not be tolerated.
What's that?
May I return?
You may.
In your first be it further resolved clause, you state that you want the student body president to issue a public condemnation. Would that be the current sitting president or the student body president elect?
I wanted to word it to where the student body president position should issue condemnations whenever an instance of hazing comes up, but I can write an amendment to further clarify that.
Yeah. Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? All right, you guys have 10 minutes. Let me start the timer. All right, in 2 minutes each. All right, Varela.
Motion to see my amendments.
There's been a motion to see Vice Chair Varela's amendments. Any objections? Seeing none, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, so I thought it was important to add this little part. Not sure how many of you read the Sentinel very often. Love the Sentinel, great newspaper. But a really famous national anti-hazing lawyer named David Bianchi recently, I think a couple weeks ago, when all this hazing stuff was coming out, wrote a commentary calling upon UCF to do more to combat hazing. I think that's a big deal when a national lawyer like this, who's pretty famous in his field, calls upon us to do something specifically. So I thought it was kind of necessary to include that. Some of the measures that he advocated for including was random chapter visits and kind of requiring freshmen and all people who are members of Greek life to do anti-hazing programs. Also notably is David Bianchi is the architect and writer of Florida's anti-hazing law. So he's the one that makes this illegal. So it is a big deal that he's calling upon UCF to do more, right? And then also I add him, attorney David W. Bianchi, to the be it therefore resolved, or be it further resolved to send this to him, just so as he knows that we're taking some action to, I guess, try to implement his recommendations. Now you have the questioning.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. Kringle, Lipner.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate on the amendments. Lipner.
Would you be open to seeing my amendments as friendlies? To clarify, just move the "and" in the whereas clauses, added semicolons to those whereas clauses, and then
Can I see every amendment on there as a friendly?
Pardon?
Can I see everyone's amendment on there as a friendly? Because they're all just changing minor things.
There's a lot of things that are changing that aren't that.
There's Wanjin, but Wanjin is not here. If anyone wants to pick it up, but if not, then it just kind of goes away.
I'll pick up one's amendment.
Okay. Escobar.
Motion to also see my amendment in the first be it further resolve clause as a friendly.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, that's Joliker in the middle of writing, so we'll just get to that one after. And the Escobar. Okay, so everyone as a friendly except for the one that Joliker is writing. Okay. Trejo Hernandez.
Where are we?
We're seeing Vice Chair Varela's amendments, but all of them are getting added as friendlies.
No, I meant like in terms of question debate.
We're in debate on the amendment.
I was gonna direct a question to Senator Ridley. Could we change the should to shall? Because I think it sounds nicer.
Go ahead.
Oh, I think my interpretation is that we can't bind the president to this. Shall is you must do this. I think should is kind of a poke, this is probably a good thing to do, but it's his ultimate discretion whether he does so or not.
Adila Colazo.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none or non-voting procedures on Varela's amendment, Wanjin's amendment, Escobar's amendment. I think that's it. And yours? Okay, and Lipner's. Bless you. All right, with a vote count of 25 to 0, the amendments pass. Jolliker, are you still working on yours?
Almost, yeah.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and take some debate while we wait. Varela.
Yeah, when his Jolliker is working on the amendment, I will filibuster for a bit to give him time. I think it's kind of really important to recognize that hazing is literally illegal. You can't do it. I think we kind of forget that sometimes. I think it's kind of normalized in college culture, which it really, really shouldn't be. It is literally a crime. You can go to jail for it. So I think it's good to kind of just remind everybody of that. And especially with recent events, there's been some abhorrent hazing on our campus recently, and it is pretty vile and disgusting. So I think it's really important that as student government, we kind of take a stance and say, hey, this is a thing that just can't be happening on our campus. It's unacceptable.
Trejo Hernandez.
Friendly reminder that hazing is not even that it's not limited just to within of like children of Greek life. It can happen within sports. It can happen with RSOs. Just so you are aware that it could be anything, and it's not limited to like being pressured to do certain things, but as well as like generalized.
All right, Jolliker's still working.
I finished it.
Okay. All right, motion to see Jolliker's amendment. Any objections? Seeing none, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. So, how do I make this quick? I think we can all agree that we're going to pass this resolution, that it is absolutely essential. Unfortunately, I know that as senators, we have very little actual power to enforce consequences against these these fraternities and sororities. And this is an excellent measure that we're looking to pass here. But I believe we should just, with my amendment, tack onto it that we want to make it clear to UCF administration that clearly they need to do more than what they have done thus far. I'm going to pick the easy target here, but Sigma Chi has had 8 suspensions in the last several years. Do we really think the 9th suspension is going to teach them their lesson? UCF admin needs to start taking more serious measures against these hazing activities by the fraternities and sororities. And frankly, I don't think I need to say any more than that. So I yield my time.
All right, we're now online for questioning. Any questions? De La Clauso.
Would you see our amendments as a friendly? And by ours, I mean the senators, all of us.
Yes, I'll see them all as friendlies.
All right. De La Clauso.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate on the amendment. Escobar Kringle.
Yeah, this is definitely something I wanted to add. I just couldn't put it to words. I also wanted to meet with the office of fraternity and sorority life. I just didn't have time, like due to spring break and like other things, but definitely vote in favor of this. It's definitely something that needs to be added to this resolution. My only like thing is with our amendments, like, and like having it being hung up in like OFSL or the Greek life chapters, it just looks kind of weird being like 2 pages, but yeah, I encourage you to vote in favor.
Kringle.
Who to vote?
There's been a motion to vote on the amendments. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 26 to 0, the amendments pass. We're still in debate on the resolution. I think we know which way we're going to vote. So Lipner.
Real quick, Senator Escobar, would you want to seeing my amendment as a friendly? It's just adding anti-hazing at UCF to the people that you send this to.
The amendment already passed, so we'd have to. I thought
It's a separate amendment.
All senators' amendments already passed.
Yeah.
Okay, it just wasn't part of that block, but if you add it, that's fine.
We just voted on the amendment. So if it wasn't in that, then we have to vote again.
It
was it added?
Technically, I guess.
Go ahead. Okay, yeah, I was about to clarify too, because I think that was in the other block of amendments. So I think you're good. Sometimes it just doesn't
then
load.
Move to vote.
All right, there's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now on voting procedures. With a vote count of 26 to 0, resolution 5622 passes on second reading. All right, resolution 5635, resolution advocating for housing affordability and environmental efforts at the state level. Chair Vasquez, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Sorry, I'm opening it up. Okay. So this resolution is kind of to add on to the resolutions that we passed last week for the Day of the Capitol Advocacy Agenda. These are specifically for housing affordability and environmental efforts. So I did want to make it clear that we always had the intention to pass these resolutions just at a separate time from the main 3 that we passed last week, just so it doesn't get confused. The reasoning behind it is that we unfortunately only have 15 minutes with each legislator that we get to meet with at Day at the Capitol, and a lot of bills that we already have to discuss. So we kind of advocated for, at least if we cannot discuss it verbally in our meetings, we can at least have it in our advocacy agenda, so it's on a piece of paper that the legislators will have with UCF and student government on that piece of paper. So the bills that I wanted to talk about, the first one being House Bill 879 and Senate Bill 584, which are in regards to homelessness in college areas. So specifically degree-seeking college students being supported through their college careers if they are considered homeless. I think this is an amazing bill, and this one's very much alive in the legislature right now, so that's really good to hear. It would develop programs to support anyone experiencing homelessness in the Florida college system if they're enrolled, and specifically advocating for universities to give them first priority to on-campus housing, in addition to helping them pay for the on-campus housing, and then also requiring universities to conduct research to be able to collect how many students are considered homeless, because it is a really difficult demographic to actually like what considers homelessness. So that information is really difficult to collect. So it actually wants to gather that information so we could see the impact that this bill might have in the future. The second bill is House Bill 295 and Senate Bill 1148 regarding waste reduction recycling plan and carbon sequestration. So these bills again are about environmental efforts. The bills specifically would allocate $350,000 towards a task force regarding carbon sequestration, which has been proven to alleviate climate change. So this really great technology and efforts to impact environmental efforts and reach not only UCF's personal environmental and sustainability goals that they plan to reach by 2050, but the state's as well. And I yield the rest of my time.
All right, we're now online for questioning. You guys have 10 minutes. Lipner.
I was just looking for a little bit more of clarity about the portion that mentions the percentage of students who voted for this specifically. When looking at the other resolutions, it seems like those numbers don't line up. So I wanted to make sure that those were correct and reach out to you about that.
Yeah, so if they don't line up, it's because students got to pick their top 3. So it's not going to be an even, they're not going to add up to 100.
Go ahead.
So to clarify, when you say topic most important to them, it was one of those top 3 topics?
No. The topics of public welfare and environment and sustainability were the 2 least chosen topics, which is why as the GAP committee, we decided not to see these on the agenda originally.
Follow up again, if I may?
Go ahead.
Can you explain why the third whereas clause says that 51% of students chose public welfare as the topic most important to them then?
Comparatively, it was the least chosen. So the other ones you'll see it's 80% of students chose education, 70% chose, like I'm spitting numbers, but it's comparatively, this is the 51% of students did choose this as the topic most important to them, but comparatively to the other ones, it is the least important out of all 5 topics.
Go ahead.
So to clarify, you're quantifying the number of students who chose it as any of their 3 choices.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Kringle.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Kringle,
Mayor Tain?
you may.
Yeah, this is a really awesome resolution, and the GAB committee works insanely hard on these. These are fantastic problems to bring up during their time. So I'll be voting in favor and move to vote.
All right, there's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 26 to 0, resolution 5635 passes on second reading. Oh, are we going to have to see that on third as well? Okay. Is there a motion to move resolution 5635 to notice of legislation on third reading? Any objections? Seeing none, is there a motion to move back to notice of legislation on third reading? Any objections? Seeing none, and notice of legislation on third reading, resolution 5635, whenever you're ready.
We just saw this. I yield the rest of my time.
All right, Kringle.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Banesh.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. All right, with the vote count of 26 to 0, resolution 5635 passes on third reading. Notice of legislation on second reading, proclamations, proclamation 5646, proclamation recognizing April as month of the military child. Senator Collazo, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
I am a military child, and this means so much to me. I yield.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. Courts?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Collazo.
I move to see my amendments.
There's been a motion to see Collazo's amendments. Any objections? Seeing none, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so I submitted the proclamation before I had the dates, just because of the timeline. So these are the 2 main events hosted for military students and military child. So we can see there's April 12th, April 26th, and then how many members. Director Kapner doesn't have an exact number as to how many military students are children of a soldier. However, he does have the number from military family members, so this is just going to include the spouses and the children. And sometimes spouses are sometimes military child at the same time. So yeah, pass these amendments. I yield.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. Lipner.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Banesh.
May I retain?
You may.
These are relevant and yeah, looks good. Move to vote.
All right, there's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. All right, with a vote count of 25 to 0, the amendments pass. Kringle.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the proclamation. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 26 to 0, proclamation 5646 passes on second reading. Lazo.
Motion to see Proclamation 5647 and Special Act 5602 as a block.
There's been a motion to see Proclamation 5647 and Special Act 5602 as a block. Are there any objections? Seeing none. All right, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right, good evening, Senate. Today I'm coming to you with a special act and a proclamation, together that to me doesn't really need all the fanfare and specialness of the special act title. The mission statement, values, and code proposed by it are things that other colleges and other universities and other businesses that exist in the real world use. And I've inspired them from governing documents and guiding documents, such as the Code of Ethics I believe I inspired that from Oakland College over in California, and as well as I took inspiration from our surrounding Florida systems, such as the mission statement and values that USF uses. To clarify, this will only affect the legislative branch, as judicial via their JRP are already required to work on a neutral and impartial basis or recuse themselves. For us, that would just look like an abstention. I also took inspiration from that same JRP for formatting our code of neutrality and impartiality. I did that for consistent formatting, and two, to take from another document and branch meant to uphold that. I think it would just be more streamlined if I did that. The executive branch, on the other hand, with this customization of a cabinet and the baked-in impartiality of the judicial advisor and the attorney general roles, that's why it's also included separately, and the special act will only be seeing Senate. Although I do believe that the code of neutrality and impartiality and respect is something that we all, as student government agents, regardless of branch, regardless of department, should strive to uphold. And oftentimes we inherently act on that. We don't need to be told that, but I feel like having it legislated is just a good measure. I've talked at length with our advisor and our DLEG to work out the best way to format a code of neutrality for future Senate sessions, without also cutting off our ability to legislate on important student matters, which is our main goal and work, to emphasize and to kind of just make clear the code of neutrality only extends to the professional capacity of student government senators, not the individual. That means it doesn't affect or dictate what a senator does outside of the chamber and outside of their senator duties, weekend plans, RSO affiliations, how you vote. However, it does mean that their advocacy for students, the needs of the 1,000 students that we all represent in our colleges, should come first and should not be affected, influenced, or in any way biased by our affiliations. With that out of the way, the mission statement and the values are a lot easier to explain, so I'll speed through those. Like I said, these are used by other schools. They just basically state what their mission as a body is and what the values that we want to uphold. The values that I selected, I only started with 3. I chose to start with 3 because if any senator here or later on wishes to add to it, I want to have that growth and that flexibility for future sessions. And I believe that's indicative of our growth and potential as a body. Unity, commitment, and respect are 3 things that I wish for future Senate sessions and for our campus as a whole. And as leaders at UCF, upholding unity, forming communities, and maintaining respect for one another starts with us as leaders. And lastly, the furthermore clauses aim to put the special act as Senate Rule 1. I hope I did that right, just so we can start our Senate rules with something as important as this. And the proclamation is kind of like what we did at the beginning of the session, where we signed this saying that we are going to uphold ourselves to our mission statement and uphold ourselves to the values that we agreed upon as a student body. Thank you, and I yield my time.
All right, we're now in line for questioning. You guys have 10 minutes. All right, Escobar, Lipner, Kringle.
For the proclamation, where it says, therefore be it resolved, it says by the 56th Student Senate of the University of Central Florida that the Student Senate, was there supposed to be something maybe after that? It just seems incomplete.
Forgive me, I just lost the proclamation, so give me 1 second while I boot that up. Can you repeat the therefore be it solved?
Yeah, so that clause just kind of sounds incomplete. I might be reading it wrong, but it says by the 56th Student Senate of the...
No, I see what you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
fully missing a sentence. I will work on that. I apologize for that.
Lipner.
Alrighty, I had 4, but now may I do 3 questions? 2 of them are clerical.
Okay.
First one directed towards Porter, if that's all right.
Yes, go ahead.
For the special act, should all of that be bolded, or is it okay to not be bolded if it's like added new? I'm not sure what the format of the rules are.
Because you're adding a new Senate rule, you're not adding language to something, so it doesn't need to be bolded.
Gotcha, thank you. Second one directed towards Deeser Lazo. I noticed the proclamation had your title be chair. Was that on purpose, or did you want that to reflect the Deeser title that you're using for this process?
Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry.
No, you're all good.
So this is something that I wanted to do in part as a caucus chair, just because I feel because we have that background of so much diversity and so much different things that we have so many different students come to us. I wanted to do that. If you are more amenable to me changing it as Deezer, I'm also okay with that. I included the contact as Deezer just because I have more access to that. Like I can use it on my phone. I can't use my Women's Caucus email on my phone all the time. So that's why I included that, but I can change that if you want.
No, you're good. I just wanted to make sure that was on purpose. And then final thing, it was a question towards you, Chair Lazo or Chair Lazo. How does this interact with the Golden Rule? I know there's a little bit of overlap. Do you have any concerns about that at all?
Can you elaborate what you mean by overlap?
Yeah, looking at the value specifically, I'm pretty sure one of them is like community is a value. I'm sorry, unity is community, respect is basically integrity. There's a lot of overlap there.
So there's the Golden Rule, which we are beholden to, but there is also the rules that we want to set up for ourselves, the Senate rules. While there is overlap and there can be inspiration made from the Golden Rules, I also want to act and add more to that. As student leaders, we kind of have to do a little bit more, and that also starts with our special acts and our Senate rules.
All right. I think I said Karingle next. Oh, you have a third one? Okay.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. All right. I see an amendment. All right, Lazo.
Motion to see my amendment.
There's been a motion to see Chair Lazo's amendment. Are there any objections? All right. Seeing none, whenever you're ready.
This is just fixing a mistake that I made probably when I was saving it. Likely also can speak to how difficult my formatting is, but basically what it is, it just sums up what the entire purpose of the bill is, which is to adhere to an established mission statement, values, and code of impartiality and neutrality for the student body senate. I yield the rest of my time.
All right. Any questions? Courts?
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Colazo?
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures on the amendment. With a vote count of 26 to 0, the amendment passes. Colazo.
So I just quickly wanted to speak on a few things on the special act that I want to draw everyone's attention to, just so you know, like the advisement that I made as D-like. So if you go to 1.03, I added a portion in there recognizing that not all Senate actions equally demand neutrality. Senators are encouraged to exercise professional judgment in determining when impartiality is most essential. Because my concern was, we're not justices or commissioners. Our interests are going to be biased to our colleges. So to always have impartiality and to always have neutrality, I just didn't think it was feasible just in their given unique position. So I added that portion in. And then 1.04, I added that incomplete section in. So for those of us who've been here for that long, if you remember our proclamation that we passed 5600. So essentially the idea is instead of doing that proclamation, the new Senate will change Senate Rule 1 to, or not change Senate Rule 1 to have a new mission statement or set of values. And with that, yeah, I'm done.
All right. Courts.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, non-voting procedures on Proclamation 5647 and Special Act 5602. All right, with the vote count of 25 to 0 Proclamation 5647 and Special Act 5602 pass on second reading. All right. Proclamation 5655, proclamation recognizing the week of March 24th as Spring Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. Chair Vasquez, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hi guys. So this was originally meant to be seen obviously before the donation drive and all the events we hosted in collaboration with it last week. But I'm glad to report it was all a success and obviously brought a lot of awareness on campus about hunger and homelessness. So that was really great work on SBA's part as a whole. Every time we do these donation drives, we get more and more RSOs and departments coming out and helping us advocate for this and getting more students involved. So that's really great. I have a lot of stats there. This time around, it was more geared towards strength and diversity, so including a lot more diverse and ethnic groups on campus, which we did, and that was awesome. And I'm glad we got that representation, and I'm excited to see how the donation drives keep on going in the future. So yeah, I yield the rest of my time.
All right, we're now online for questioning. Varela,
Move for debate.
there's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Banesh,
May I retain?
you may.
You guys know, like, I'm a big advocate for, highlighting student hunger and homelessness. I feel like it's very imperative because so many people have these unspoken battles and whatnot. So I feel like this is very important and imperative to have. Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Do you object?
I
All right, you
withdraw.
withdraw. All right, go ahead.
Motion to see my memo as a technical. It's just in the like where it's sent to. The Hispanic Student Association is mentioned twice.
Okay, I'll see it as a technical. All right, Hamid.
Really quickly, just want to recognize my GOAT, Chair Vasquez. For the past year and a half, she's been hosting these donation drives, really evolving them and improving them since the very first one. And everyone, we've had a really great turnout, and we've been able to help a lot of people by giving them clothing or food. And I think that it's a really amazing thing that we're able to do as Senate to give back to our community. And I really want to recognize Chair Vasquez's hard work in making that happen. And I'm really going to miss her when I have to plan the next one next year and the next one after that. I don't know how I will do it, but I got you, G. Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. With a vote count of 26-0, Proclamation 5655 passes on second reading. Proclamation 5656, proclamation recognizing April 15th as National ASL Day, Disability Caucus. Chair Johnson, whenever you're ready.
Hi guys, I want to keep this short and sweet by saying this was one of my initiatives when I was first appointed as a senator, so I think it's really cool that this is happening. My biggest goal of being chair of the Disability Caucus is to make sure that student government and all of UCF are aware that disability is not a morality test, and then it can happen to anyone. So by making the university and the world more inclusive, not only are you helping people who are disabled now, but you're helping people who are disabled in the future. And if you're a woman, that means you're 2 times more likely to be disabled in the future. So please keep that in mind. If you're a female, sorry. You're 2 times more likely to be disabled in the future. So keep that in mind. It's noted in the proclamation that UCF does have a very rich deaf culture. So I feel like it's only benefiting that we celebrate them on April 15th. And don't forget to stop by if you're on campus before you go to the passing of the gavel to get a cupcake in Health Science 1 Atrium on April 15th from 3 p.m. to I think 5:30. Thank you.
All right, we're now online for questioning. Are there any questions? Libner.
Would you be open to adding a resolves clause which cites our willingness and urging of faculty to add more ASL classes, as I know that's been an issue with some individuals?
Yes.
Courts.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none, we are now in debate. Lazo Banesh.
While I give Libner some time to finish his amendments, I'm really proud of this bill. I'm really proud of the work that's been done. I mentioned this in SBA, but I have a very, very beginner's level of American Sign Language understanding, but I used to go and volunteer to deaf and mute students, and I would do Christmas caroling with them, and it was really sweet to see how they would feel so represented just from one little volunteering activity. So I really wish that we can build a better community for the ASL community here on campus. And I encourage you all to vote in favor.
Dinesh.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote in favor. I feel like it's very important to, highlight people with disabilities because, like Chair Johnson said, anybody can get them at any time. Most disabilities are not congenital. You could end up deaf and learning ASL one day. So I feel like it's very, important to highlight this group of people, their important culture, the language they speak. And yeah, I encourage you guys to vote in favor as well.
Richmond.
I'm Autumn Johnson's biggest fan. If she writes a proclamation, I'm in support. No, I'm just kidding. This is a great proclamation for a great cause. I've seen her hard work for this cause and this event throughout the semester, meeting with the dean and talking about it. And he's even helping her out with some things. So it really shows her dedication and her great work as chair.
All right. Let me look at that. Are we still working on the amendment? Okay, Lipner.
Motion to see my amendment.
There's been a motion to see Chair Lipner's amendment.
Actually, would the chair be open to seeing it as a friendly?
Well, first we're going to motion to see the amendment. Or all right, there's been a motion to see the amendment. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm just adding this line to ensure that we have greater support for ASL courses, especially at the upper level. I've had conversations with individuals that say that ASL 3 and ASL 4 are very difficult to find, if not non-existent here on campus. So encouraging them to further support that is important.
All right, we're now late for questioning. Kringle.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Anyone wishing to speak in debate? Courts.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. All right, with the vote count of 25 to 0 to 1, the amendment passes. We are still in debate. Lipner.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the proclamation. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in voting procedures. All right, with the vote count of 25 to 0 to 1, proclamation 5656 passes on second reading. Courts.
Motion to postpone internal bills 5640, 5645, 5646, and 5636.
All right, there's been a motion to postpone internal bill 5640, 5645, 5646, and internal bill 5636. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none, those are postponed, and we are technically done with legislation tonight because a lot of these were postponed. We're gonna go in Senate forum really quick. I just have a few notes. All right, we did good with the legislation. Realistically, we got through with it in 2.5 hours, which is really good, even though it's 10, but since we started at 7:30. Okay, really quick to Senate leadership, especially committee chairs. If I were you, I'm going to recommend that you do not allow for postponement of any of the internal bills that you are going to see next week. If the the author of the bill doesn't end up showing, you can either decide to PPI someone, I guess, or if they can send a speech that you could read on their behalf, that's great. But we kind of just need to lock in now. So if the author doesn't show up, then it just won't get seen. But obviously it's up to you what you want to do, but we're just seeing a lot postponed in committee for, I think, like technical reasons. And if it was not communicated to you why, then you can decide whether or not it's worth to see it. But that's just something to look out for committee chairs. I will send out a message next week, but this is kind of along the same notes. If anyone will not be if you have something that is going to be seen, a bill that will be seen on the floor next week now at Senate, and you know you will not be here, you can send me a speech, or we're kind of going to be in the same place if it's on second reading especially, that we can either decide if we want to postpone it indefinitely if they cannot be there to represent their legislation. We're kind of down to the wire here, and we just need to make sure we're all locked in. So if you know you have a bill and you can't be here, have someone represent it for you, ask a fellow senator to help you out. But again, we're down to the wire. Lastly, you can also decide if you will be returning next session and you have a bill that you think will have a lot of conversation and is not time sensitive. I would also consider PPIing it and then picking it up next session, because these next two meetings, again, I keep saying it, we're probably going to be a little rushed, kind of going to be the same thing as this meeting, just like needing to only meet. We did good with the 2 minutes. So it'll be the same thing, except we have way more legislation. So yeah, if you're not going to be here to represent legislation, there's a good chance we probably will just not see it unless that is communicated otherwise. So committee chairs, please look out for that, because we have a lot to see and I don't want to have to call a special session. That's it from me. If there's any questions for myself, Varela.
Kind of just a general question in the body. I'm a bit late on this, sorry, but I was wondering, do you guys think it's okay to see the two Borges bills on third reading just now, because they both passed basically unanimously on second reading, and like none of them seem like that crazy? We didn't really do much with them the first time around. So like, is it okay if we postpone those, pass them, and then they're out of our agenda for next week?
Which ones are you talking about? The ones that we just postponed?
Yeah, the ones we just postponed. Yeah.
Courts.
Motion to unpostpone 5640, 5645, and 5646.
There's been a motion to unpostpone internal bill 5640, 5645, 5636, and I think I missed another one. Just those three? Okay. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none, those are unpostponed. Varela.
Motion to see internal bills 5640. I can't, there's too many things. 5645 and 5646 in block.
56, you said 40.
All the Borges bills, yeah.
45 and 46 as a block. Okay, there's been a motion to see those bills as a block. Any objections? All right, seeing none. Who wants to represent them? Varela. Okay, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll pick up these bills. We passed them all unanimously with except there's one no vote, one of them I saw. I don't think anything has changed from last week. So yeah, that's it.
All right. I'm on it. I'm slow with computers and I'm honestly still opening them. Any questions? Kringle.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in debate. Lipner,
May I retain?
you may.
Yeah, these all look pretty common sense, and with that, move to vote.
All right, there's been a motion to vote. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now. Did you object? All right, we're now on voting procedures on those three internal bills. All right, with a vote count of 26-0 internal bill 5640, 5645, and 5646 pass on third. Collazo.
I just wanted to gauge the Senate body, and in terms of the bills that have passed unanimously today on second reading, do we feel comfortable to see them on third reading tonight as
That's
well?
a really good question. So which ones? They all pretty much passed unanimously.
Except for the Senate apportionment bill and Senator Morotov's bill. I only want to do unanimous.
Varela.
I think we should see all the bills except for the Senate apportionment and Morotov's bill on third reading tonight.
On third reading. Are you raising your hand or stretching? You're raising your hand? Okay.
I just want to casually throw out there, do whatever you want, that perhaps seeing them on both second and third on a meeting where you just barely have quorum maybe isn't the greatest look, and it might be value. Like, obviously, you don't show up, you don't get a vote, but might be worthwhile to let the rest of the senators hear those ones before they pass on 2 readings.
Yeah, there's that too. Okay, are we gauging more opinions about this? Okay, Varela and then Kringle and then
Yeah, that was a common Brody W. I agree. I think that it's yeah, I forgot that we have like no one here, and we should probably let the rest of Senate have a voice in this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of Brody said. And also, like, if they pass unanimously that easily tonight, I don't see why they wouldn't pass pretty easily on the 3rd reading next week. So I think we can speed through.
Lipner.
Last thing before we move on, would you guys be open to just doing proclamations since those are a little bit less controversial?
If they pass on second, they're good. They only
you're
take
so
2
right.
readings.
Yep, my bad. With that motion to move to Senate forum.
All right, there's been a motion to move to Senate forum. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in Senate forum. All right, Collazo.
I just want to quickly remind everyone to please read the bills that have been remanded. There is a lot of them, and there's a lot of changes to our Senate rules and internal bills. So please take the time to read them, look over them, so when we come next week, you have your questions prepared and you have your debate prepared, and we can quickly move through business. But other than that, today was great. You guys kept it trucking, so yeah.
Joliker.
Yeah, great job tonight, everybody. That was a lot of fun. Had a great time. If any of the more experienced senators in here are willing to lend me a helping hand, I think I have an idea for a proclamation, and I feel like it's time for me to write my first bit of legislation anyway. I just don't really know the process and how that works yet. I also don't know if it's been written before. So if I could just get a guiding hand by anyone willing, that'd be nice. Thank you.
Collazo.
So in terms of rebating, legislation is closed, so the pro tem's office won't put it on the agenda. However, you can ask the chair of SBA to adopt your bill, and it's entirely up to them whether or not they'll see your proclamation.
Hamid.
So the craziest thing is we could adopt it, and I think it'll pass. But if you need help writing it, like the content, I got you.
Vasquez.
But SBA wouldn't meet next week. Question mark.
So like we're gonna figure that out tomorrow.
Okay. Courts.
Just to respond to Chair Vasquez, wouldn't it not matter either way? If SBA
We'd have to adopt it in committee for it to be seen in Senate. So, true.
Which means that you also could remand it next week.
Yeah, I could. Well, up to you. Oh, up to me. I say let's adhere to the timeline and adopt in committee, question mark, up to the chair, but that's what I'm going with. All right, Lipner.
Great job today, guys. I'm glad that we're out of here by 11 p.m.
All right, Collazo.
Move to Senate deliberations.
All right. There's been a motion to move to Senate deliberations. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now into Senate deliberations. It looks like there's nothing. Okay. Advisors report.
All right. Hey, everybody. Good meeting. That was very efficient. I'm proud of you all. Side note, if ever there was an argument for a smaller Senate, it was how efficient tonight was. Just kidding, but kind of. Yeah, no, I don't have a lot for you. We got some time. Let's do some senator shout outs. Yeah, JC, hit him.
I want to shout out everyone that came tonight because y'all, every one of you, goats. Because like we almost didn't meet, and that would have like ruined my life because we would have had like 50 bills to see, and I don't think I would have gotten through that mentally. So thank you.
All right. Yeah, Andrew.
This one's going to be a little more self-centered. I'm going to shout out myself because I spent 2 hours putting all of your legislation into one email to send to Brody. And then I'm also going to shout out Chair Courts because she's going to have to see 18 bills next week. So this is like a precursor shout out to that.
All right, Jordan.
So first off, shout out to everyone who came here who was not expecting to come at the very beginning of today. Those of you who had to make that change of schedule to be here to make quorum, I much appreciate it. Secondly, not a senator, but huge shout out to Maddie, who was recognized as Tower 3 RA of the month. So big congrats there.
Wow. Kirsten.
Shout out to Brody and Maddie. I love both of you. Shout out to Andrew as well, so he doesn't have to feel so self-centered. And I guess shout out to the rest of you. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of the legislation that all of you have decided to put in at the last second. That's me.
All right, Adam.
Shout out to CCIE for having like the most attendance out of all the colleges here, proportional wise. Whoa! You come on now. Wait, no, you have two?
Yeah.
Oh,
they're-
you're
they're
right.
2 for 2.
Yeah, 2 seats. You got 4. 75. Anyway, shout out to CRT and shout out to LJR for now having probably two CRT length meetings in a row. Shout out to the advisors as always. Oh, did you fit? Oh, I'm so sorry. And yeah.
All right, Danny.
Shout out to ENA because we have very polished and intelligent discussions every morning, Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. But also shout out to Chair Escobar because y'all put him through the ringer tonight about that apportionment bill. It is not the same bill anymore, but I know that you put a lot of hard work into it as well as ENA. So shout out to y'all.
As a side note, the advising team is also 2 out of 2. So, Jason.
Shout out my number one goats, Chair Vasquez, Deezer Lazo, and Chair Kaufman for helping at the homeless shelter. And always a great time with you guys, I guess. I pulled a crazy card out during an argument. It was really like we were arguing like the bear, like we were in this tiny little kitchen, and it was crazy, but it was really fun. So do it again.
Adam.
Hey, I almost forgot. Shout out to Gap. Y'all are doing a lot of hard work. Also, shout out to Supervisor Brown for showing me so many great recommendations to Title VI to make changes.
All right, JC.
Sorry, I have another one. I'm going to waste your time, but I also kind of want to give a special shout out because I don't know if we're going to ever do shout outs again in this session, considering how long our next meeting is going to be. But shout out to everyone who's graduating or leaving our body. I think, although not many people are here today, I think that we all wish you well on your next endeavors in life. And I think it's really important to remember our time here together and to grow from this experience and take lessons away.
I don't know. Leaving our body is a wild way to phrase that. I've just been ruminating on that since you said it. Yeah, Autumn.
Thank you for that. Congratulations.
Jordan.
Hopefully not. Whatever. Shout outs to Senator and oh my God, I'm blanking on their title. External Legislative Assistant Richmond for going through it and still sticking it out.
This is their flu game. All right, yeah, Amanda.
Thank you again for everyone coming out today, but also thank you to Andrea because no one gives her enough credit for the, I think like over 100 plates of food she gave out. Even though we started getting at the bear at the last minute and I was, get off my expo chef. I'm just so proud of all the work she does and she's not gonna let me compliment her. So I wanted to do it on the floor so that she can't escape it. And also, I'm so glad that you guys are part of my symphony and I love having this like day with you.
Yeah, Ryan.
I gotta shout out FAO. I haven't done that yet this session, and with this maybe the last one, I cannot go without saying shout out FAO, the best committee out there.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's so cool that happened, but like, why hasn't it happened yet? All right, Kirsten.
Sorry, I forgot to shout out my own committee. I love you guys. And you guys are also going to love the notification I just sent you. So fill out the when to meet as soon as possible.
Oh.
Save the best for last. Shout out Allison Pullman. Yeah, she's the only one in this room who doesn't know what law school I committed to. I'm just kidding. No one knows. Not even my mom.
Shout out to Allison for having to stand the entire meeting.
I was going to say, you've been
Wild. All right. Any others? You sure we got time? Okay. Oh, Andrea, perfect.
Perfect. What? Shout out SBA because I love SBA. Shout out Gap because Gap is awesome and I love Gap, and we've been doing so much work. Just it was over 100 plates of food that we handed out. It was close to 200. Just wanted to say that. But yeah, it was awesome. Very rewarding work. Shout out advisors, y'all are great. Shout out Chair Courts because kudos to you for seeing so many bills. You'll be seeing me next week anyway. Who else? Everyone here. Chair Escobar, you're great. I love you. Janae, everyone here, you guys are awesome. But yeah, Grace, love you. Anyway, yeah, just you, I guess. Whatever.
All right. Hunter.
This isn't a shout out, but by a show of hands, who's down for a Lazy Moon social? Like right after this.
That sounds like a thing you guys can discuss when you're all done, because I don't care. All right. Yeah. Words up.
Shout out to Senator Thus for being a high-key chill guy.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sam.
Shout out to Allison for standing the entire time. You are our Cory Booker today. Yeah.
Or what?
Cory, the senator that just broke the filibuster record.
Oh, Cory. Got it.
Yeah.
I heard core builder, and I was like, is this like is this an exercise? I was very confused. Yeah, Jason.
Motion to move to Maddie.
Whoa. Nope. I will not see it. I will not see it. All right. I know he was trying to move to you.
No, but I have a Senate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can give a Senate shout out.
Everyone who comes to orientation tomorrow and hangs out with us for a very long time and Saturday.
All right. Looks like that's all. Thanks, guys.
Okay. All right. I think I accidentally closed out of the agenda. Maddie, nothing. By the way, your stool is in my office. Okay. All right, miscellaneous business. Okay, appointments. I hereby appoint Chair Kaufman to the Military and Veterans Caucus. Resignations. I hereby resign Chair Kringle from the Sustainability, Military and Veterans and Intercampus and Transfer Caucus. I hereby resign Senator Thoss from the GAP Committee. And I forgot to have this in my announcements, but Evan Grosso resigned from Senate. All right, Danny Collazo, sorry.
Can we give a round of applause to Chair Karango? Because he's the first vice chair of Military Advance Caucus, and he served the caucus for 2 years. So,
Thanks. Are we going to motion back? Because I want to be the last thing we do today. So, if we're motioning back.
yeah.
So, we're about, okay, order. So we're about to end, and we just passed your bills. All right, Danny's drip down.
Perfect. Okay. So for third place, we're gonna do Diesel Lazo because I love the pants. Second place, we're gonna do Chair Vasquez because green, yes, it's giving brat. And then first place, Chair Kringle, because I don't know why you're all suited up, but I like the suit. And then honorable mentions to Chair Escobar. And yes, that's it for tonight. Good night, guys.
Okay, Johnson.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn pending final roll call.
There's been a motion to adjourn the meeting pending final roll call. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none, Chair Courts.
Rapid fire because I already know who's here. Lazo. Present. Reed. Corelli. Thoss. Oh, wait. Oh. Morozov.
Present.
Lim. Joliker.
Present.
Kringle.
Present.
Sherman.
Present.
Smith. Present. Chair Hernandez.
Present.
Muratov. Connolly, Gumarov, Hamid.
Present.
Kaufman.
Present.
Rudy. Lusht. Gaudio, Metellus, Rose, Rickett. Chauhan. Escobar.
Present.
Naguib. Wanjin. Johnson.
Present.
Patel. Weiderberg.
Present.
Green. Hendry. Rubin. Borges. Alcuda. Condoloro. Colasso.
Present.
I'm here. Rodriguez. Janadra.
Present.
Coleman.
Present.
No, I haven't. Oh, Banesh.
Present.
I did skip. I'm sorry. Renda. Richmond.
Present.
Shen. Varela.
Present.
Vasquez.
Present.
Lipner.
Present.
Morset.
Present.
26 out of 48 quorum is verified.
All right, I adjourn this meeting at 10:18 p.m.